Assalamualaikum and hi. Today me, SHAHIRAH and my groupmate AINA, BINTI, ZAMSOL, AHMAD, Danish, Arif and AFFNAN WAFIQ will present to you about the non-profit organization which is Global Aid Initiative that aims to resolve a particular international relationship issue. First, I will tell you about the organization mission. The mission of Global Aid Initiative is to provide timely and effective humanitarian intervention to communities in crisis across the globe. I will explain more detail about the mission. The organization aims to provide immediate assistance in times of crisis such as natural disaster, armed conflicts or public health emergencies. This may involve deploying teams to affected areas, delivering assistance supplies like foods, water, shelter and medical aid, and ensuring the safety and well-being of affected population. The organization focuses on delivering long-term support to communities affected by protracted crisis, working towards their recovery and sustainable development. This can include initiatives related to healthcare and livelihoods, with the goal of empowering individuals and communities to rebuild their lives. Humanitarian intervention organizations prioritize the protection of vulnerable population, including refugees, internally displaced persons, women, children, and minorities. They advocate for their rights, provide legal support, prevent violence and exploitation, and work to ensure that those affected by crisis are treated with dignity and respect. International political economy investigates how international institutions and organizations relate and govern global economic activities. International political economy assists these regions by advocating for policies that encourage investment, job creation, and poverty reduction. Through their policies and position, national government shapes the international agenda on humanitarian intervention. International political economy aids in the analysis of the economic factors that drive humanitarian intervention. Humanitarian intervention can have serious economic consequences for both the affected country and the actors involved. Change in the trade patterns, investment flows, labor markets, and economic stability might be among the consequences. In the context of humanitarian intervention, international political economy investigates how these economic factors interact with broader political and social dynamics.
National governments contribute to humanitarian interventions by providing financial, logistical, and material assistance. They may create and fund relief programs, provide resources such as food, medicine, and shelter, and coordinate aid, transportation, and distribution. They could help the most vulnerable people in areas affected by Islamist militancy. The World Health Organization coordinates the international response to all types of humanitarian health emergencies, from disease outbreaks to conflicts and natural disasters. It's shown as the 5th World Health Organization Stakeholders Meeting in Geneva to strengthen the partnership and commitment to the elimination of human African trypanosomiasis, and to structure collaboration mechanism within the World Health Organization network for human African trypanosomiasis elimination. They assist trainee healthcare workers, supplying diagnostic tools and drugs, and establishing treatment centers. Another national government organization that could help in the Islamist militancy issue was the International Rescue Committee. They respond to the world's worst humanitarian crises such as the conflict in Ukraine and the crisis in Afghanistan, and they could aid in the fight against militancy in Africa. The International Rescue Committee has been actively involved in responding to the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine, particularly in the conflict-affected eastern regions. They provide emergency relief to internally displaced people and host communities such as food, clean water, shelter, and healthcare service. They have helped internally displaced people rebuild their lives and integrate into local communities by providing legal aid, psychosocial support, and education and livelihood programs.
Resolving Islamist militancy in Africa continent necessitates a complete plan with the involvement of many international organizations. Those involved parties consist of local authorities, international bodies, and partnership between two parties. Although no individual international organization can completely solve the problem, there are multiple organizations that have a major impact in tackling the underlying reasons, encouraging harmony and security, and aiding anti-terrorism endeavor in the locality. This organization collaborates to addressing the changing obstacle and aiming for a protected and secure future. Now, I will list 3 international organizations which are African Union, AU, United Nations, UN, and Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, that can help in resolving Islamist militancy in Africa. The first one is African Union, AU. It is a continental organization that aims to strengthen unity, peace and development across Africa. The AU has actively contributed towards addressing security challenge in Africa, including Islamic militancy. Currently, the African Union mission in Somalia, AMISOM, supports the federal government of Somalia in its effort to stabilize the country and counter terrorism from Al-Shabaab. It emerged out of a need for improved security, which mostly included training and advisory support for the Somali security forces. Besides that, the African Union has developed a comprehensive framework addressing counter-terrorism prevention. This framework places emphasis on understanding the drivers of extremism before diverting any policy's response. Towards identifying issues and developing policies, there are 2 main concepts, namely enhancing tactics and response methodologies. These 2 concepts facilitate issue identification and development through participation, inclusion of member states, enhance representation and contribution towards membership. Lastly, the African Union also encouraged regional collaboration and coordination in order to combat the danger posed by Islamist militancy. It supports information exchange, capacity development and cooperative effort among African governments. The AU's effort to combat Islamist terrorism are an essential part of its larger mission to advance stability, security, peace on the African continent. The AU makes a substantial contribution to combating the danger presented by militant organizations in Africa by promoting regional collaboration, assisting peacekeeping operations and putting counterterrorism policies into action. The United Nations, UN, is an international organization founded with the primary objective of promoting peace, security and cooperation among nations. The UN plays a crucial role in addressing Islamist militancy in Africa through various agencies, programs and initiatives. Firstly, the UN undertakes various counter-terrorism initiatives to address the threats of Islamist militancy globally, including in Africa. These initiatives aim to prevent and counter acts of terrorism, strengthen national capacities, promote international cooperation and address the underlying drivers of extremism. This organization provides technical assistance of capacity and building support to member states in developing effective counter-terrorism strategies and enhancing their national capacities. Next, the United Nations deploys peacekeeping missions in various conflict-affected regions of Africa, including those impacted by Islamist militancy. This mission supports stabilization effort, protection of civilians, and the restoration of peace and security. For example, the UN Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in Mali, MINUSMA, is mandated to support the implementation of the peace agreement, protect civilians, and counter the activities of extremist groups in Mali. Lastly, the UN Security Council has imposed targeted sanction and financial measures on individuals and entities associated with terrorist groups operating in Africa. Financial measures and sanctions are important tools employed to counter the financing of terrorism and disrupt the activities of individuals and entities associated with Islamic militancy. These measures aim to cut off the flows of funds and resources that supports terrorist organization. This resolution requires member states to freeze assets, impose travel bans and implement other measures against designated individuals and entities. For example, UN Security Council Resolution 1267 established the sanction regime against Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. It has been expanded over time to include other terrorist groups and individuals associated with them. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is a regional organization focused on promoting economic integration and stability in West Africa countries. ECOWAS has established the ECOWAS Standby Force (ESF), a multidimensional force composed of military, police and civilian component, and is designed to respond to the security challenge in the region, including the threats of Islamist militancy. The ESF conducts training and capacity building programs to enhance the skills and capabilities of its personnel in countering various security threats, including terrorism and extremism. ESF also gives training exercise focused on areas such as counter-terrorism operation, intelligence gathering and analysis, peacekeeping and crisis management. Other than that, ECOWAS developed a strong border security and migration management. It is a crucial component of efforts to address Islamist militancy in Africa. Efforts are made to enhance border security through the deployment of training personnel, the use of technology such as surveillance system and biometric identification, and the establishment of border posts and checkpoints. This helps to monitor and control the movement of individuals and goods across border, making it more difficult for militants to infiltrate or transport illicit materials. Border security and migration management also involve close cooperation among countries to exchange information, share intelligence and coordinate action. Furthermore, ECOWAS also collaborates with international partners such as the United Nations, African Union and regional organizations to enhance its counter-terrorism efforts. It works closely with these partners to share best practice, coordinate initiatives and access resources and expertise to strengthen regional capacities in countering terrorism and violent extremism. ECOWAS' engagement in addressing Islamist militancy reflects its commitment to peace, security and stability in West Africa.
Moving on to the international law. Combating Islamist militancy in Africa requires a coordinated strategy involving various international laws and measures. A holistic approach including regional cooperation, intelligence sharing, capacity building and addressing core causes can effectively tackle the persistent menace. Implementing this law and initiative can help ensure regional stability and mitigates the element that fuel Islamist militancy in Africa. Following are some international law initiatives that may be useful in combating Islamist militancy in Africa. The first international law is the resolution of the United Nations Security Council. The UNSC has adopted several resolutions to combat terrorism and terrorist financing in Africa. Resolution 1373/2001 and Resolution 2396/2017 emphasized the need for international cooperation and coordination in combating terrorism. Resolution 1373/2001 emphasized global cooperation, coordination and collaboration in the fight against terrorism, while Resolution 2396/2017 addressed the threat of returning foreign terrorist fighters and their potential danger to the world peace and security. Both resolutions emphasized the importance of information exchange, intelligent coordination and strong legislative framework at national and regional level. Next is the International Convention for the Supervision of the Financing of Terrorism. The ICSFT is a crucial legal framework in Africa to counter Islamist militancy. Adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1999, the ICSFT aims to prevent and combat terrorism financing by focusing on financial networks that sustain extremist groups. By promoting international cooperation, information sharing and mutual legal assistance, the ICSFT can disrupt financial networks supporting extremist groups and strengthen African nationals legal framework. Furthermore, the African Union (AU) has developed various treaties and protocols to combat Islamist militancy in Africa. The AU Peace and Security Council (PSC) is crucial for preserving peace and security in the region. The AU has established the African Center for the Study and Research on Terrorism (ACSRT) to improve member states' counter-terrorism capacity. The AU Accords, protocols and projects demonstrate the dedication of African countries to control Islamist militancy. By utilizing this framework, member states can enhance regional cooperation, align legislative framework, improve intelligence sharing and conduct effective counter-terrorism measures. Moreover, countering violence extremists (CVE) programs can help combat Islamist militancy in Africa by addressing underlying causes of the radicalization and recruitment. The Strong Communities Network (SCN) is a global network of local government and communities dedicated to preventing and combating violence extremists by involving youth, religious leaders and community organization. CVE program aim to develop resilience against extreme belief, addressing underlying issues and share best practice. By implementing as a CVE program, Africa can politely stop Islamist militancy once and for all. Besides, the joint force of the Group of Five for the Sahel (G5 Sahel) aims to combat Islamist militancy in Africa by improving regional cooperation and coordination. Founded in 2014, the G5 Sahel focus on intelligence sharing, border security and military operation to combat terrorist organisation. Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali, Mauritania and Niger are the members of the G5 Sahel. The first offers specialized remedies to regional dynamic and problem caused by Islamist militancy. Focus on the specific setting of the Sahel region. With approval from the United Nations Security Council and the African Union Peace and Security Council, the G5 Sahel Joint Force is expected to lead international security initiative in the region. Lastly, the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime (UNODC) is a global leader in combating Islamist militancy in Africa. It supports member states in thwarting terrorists and averting violent extremists, offering technical assistance, capacity building and expertise in areas like rule of law, criminal justice system, counter-terrorism finance and community-based intervention. UNODC focus on preventative measures, setting legal framework and fostering global collaboration in the fight against terrorism. Activities include community-based intervention, strengthening criminal justice system and advising the rule of law.